Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional funding provided by Christian Brothers University and Baptist Memorial Healthcare. Get better with Baptist.
This month on The Spark, our theme revolves around international outreach. We'll learn more about the official destination marketing organization for Memphis and Shelby County, which is helping to attract more than 10 million visitors to our city each year. We'll take a look at a clinic and foundation dedicated to helping individuals and enhancing the quality of life through the science of orthopedic medicine and mission work. And we'll discuss how a local faith-based nonprofit is working to meet the needs of orphan children around the world. Have you ever been excited by a new idea? Inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're the official marketing destination organization for Memphis and Shelby County. I'm here with the president and CEO of the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau, Kevin Kane. And for starters, when you think about the CVB, it's bringing tourism here to Memphis and Shelby County. But give us a little bit of the backstory for the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, you know, like the Chamber of Commerce, you know, who celebrated, I think, last year their 175th anniversary, we've started in 1923. So, you know, we've been around a long, long time as well, inviting visitors and taking care of visitors that would come to our community. And, you know, here we are in 2014, over 10 million visitors come here on an annual basis. It supports close to 40,000 jobs. And the economic spend in this community on our economy, over $3 billion. So huge. Tourism is big business for Memphis and Shelby County.
And I think that's important to know is when you think about tourism, it's a business. I mean, when you look at our legacy here, not only with music and Beale Street and Graceland, it very much is a business and an economic driver for our community.
Well, you know, our product is a very diverse product. And, you know, the Memphis visitor takes on many different types of faces. And, you know, it could be mom and dad and the kids coming here for a soccer tournament, micro soccer complex. It could be a youth baseball team coming to game day baseball out on Germantown Parkway and spending a weekend playing in a baseball tournament. You know, it can be the NCAA bringing 4 teams in the South Regional Finals. Right. And 4 teams to support their schools playing and all the fans who normally playing at FedEx Forum. It could be people coming in from the region to watch an NBA basketball game. It could be the Orpheum Theater. You know, over 30% of their subscribers live within, you know, farther than 50 miles from Memphis. Wow. So we have a great amenity package here. And, you know, I say we're the capital of the Mid-South, but not only the capital of the Mid-South, we attract visitors from all over the world.
Right, and I think that's important to know is it's regional tourism, it's national tourism, but it's also international tourism. When you look at it, I know that you have specific hotspots, and you've obviously done all the research to identify, but you have areas in Australia and the UK. What are some of those major hotspots?
Well, obviously, UK is tremendously strong for us, and a lot of that has to do with our musical heritage. I mean, when you talk to someone, you talk to a Brit or you talk to someone from throughout Europe and you say Memphis, 9 times out of 10, the next thing out of their mouth is going to be either Elvis or B.B. King. It's going to be one of our, you know, music legends that obviously, you know, created this brand that we know as Memphis music.
And there's a good tie between the Beatles and, you know, all of those bands with Elvis and rock and roll, and so there's a good synergy there, I imagine.
Well, it's interesting, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that because 2014 is the 60th anniversary of rock and roll. And 10 years ago on the 50th anniversary of rock and roll, we tied that date to July 5th, 1954, when Elvis Presley went into Sun Studio and recorded That's All Right Mama for Sam Phillips. And, you know, the significance of that, when we launched that celebration a decade ago on the 50th anniversary of rock and roll, we were doing it with everybody from Hard Rock Cafes Worldwide to Rolling Stone magazine. They did 4 special inserts.
Right.
But the first phone call we got was the city of Liverpool, and they said, you know, we recognize that Memphis is chapter 1, but if Memphis is chapter 1, then obviously Liverpool's chapter 2.
Right, chapter 2.
And we really, you know, formed this great relationship with the city of Liverpool because they promote, you know, their brand is kind of music, that Mersey sound, and ours is that Memphis sound, you know, right here in the Mississippi River. So it was really a great concept.
Well, it's good to know that Memphis is mentioned in more songs than any other city in the world. So actually, let's take a little bit closer look at what the CVB is doing for Memphis.
Harahan Bridge project is that bridge right behind us. There's a roadbed on the side of it. We want to take that old roadbed and make it a bike ped crossing. And we frame that as a transportation project. It's called Main Street to Main Street, connecting Main Street Memphis to Main Street West Memphis over the Harahan Bridge. It's going to expand your cycling horizons. Being able to cross the Mississippi River in and of itself is a really cool thing, and people will do it just for that experience. We want to put trails on top of the levees. If you've been to Arkansas at all or Mississippi, you're familiar with Mississippi rivers. The levees, they run pretty much from St. Louis to New Orleans, and that's what we want to do, is put a trail on top of the levees. Another project I'm excited about is the Wolf River Greenway. They've done some of it out east. It's connected to Shelby Farms. Well, they want to have it done in 5 years, that will run along the Wolf River all the way down here to the Mississippi River, connecting to Greenbelt Park. Because everyone asks that, how do I get from Shelby Farms down to the river so I can ride across the bridge? We want to make that happen.
So that gives us a little flavor for the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau and your marketing efforts here for Memphis and Shelby County, but you've done a ton of research identifying what is the profile of a tourist here. Describe, there's a whole new campaign that you're rolling out, and describe that campaign and what that means for Memphis and Shelby County.
Well, we call it the Faces of Memphis Tourism, and obviously it's kind of people that you wouldn't expect. Commodity broker Charlie McVane and his vision for the Harahan Bridge. You know, Barbara Hyde and her team and the board of Shelby Farms and the master plan of Shelby Farms. It's, you know, a $60+ million makeover of the largest inland park in North America, I think 4,500 acres, you know, 5 times the size of Central Park in New York. And you know, ecotourism is huge, and Memphis is now positioned to take full advantage of that with over 100 miles of bike lanes. You know, if somebody would have said to either one of us 10 years from now, boy, we're going to take some railroad tracks and we're going to turn it into a really cool jogging and biking trail right through the heart of Memphis, you would have said, oh, that's okay, that's nice. But I'm not sure anybody, me included, we're thinking of the tourism opportunities from that.
Green Line.
And you know, the Green Line has helped spawn a whole new attractor to our visitor package that makes people want to come here.
And I think that's the thing that makes this exciting but unique, is that we get to enjoy that. Obviously we live here and we get to go and jog and run and bike. But the neat thing is those become great storylines for us, not only regionally but internationally.
You know, we have world-class amenities. You know, you look at the zoo. It's interesting when people talked about the controversy over parking, the overcrowding of the parking lot. I like crowds. I wish that the zoo had more cars.
Right?
I wish the zoo had, you know, people follow crowds. You want to go to where you can't find a parking space. You want to go to where everybody wants to be. And, you know, the success of our zoo has been tremendous. You know, 30, 40 years ago, a lot of cities had zoos, but our zoo became transformational. And as you say, it's not only great for the visitor, it's great for the quality of life of all the citizens that live here. And that's the beauty of our amenity package.
When you look out over the next, and you alluded to it earlier, is that this industry is growing. And the neat thing is when you look at the excitement, the crowds, the building, all the infrastructure that we're laying in here, the Green Line, all of those become great attractors. Well, this industry is growing. When you look out at 2015, 2016 and beyond, what's your outlook?
Well, first of all, hotel occupancies are up 11% year to date, so we're thrilled about that. But you know, when I look 5, 10, 15 years down the road, I want to see 15 million visitors, not 10 million visitors. I want to see 50,000+ people employed in tourism and hospitality, not 37,000. That's how we measure success. And obviously, this is business. It's, you know, it's tourism, it's leisure, it's fun. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's jobs, it's economic impact on the community, It's tax revenue to support the services of our community. It's important for the community.
Absolutely, and I know one of your big things as we wrap up is the fact that when you look at it, there's one thing about us living and working here and reinvesting our dollars, but when you look at other people's money and bringing that in, that's a huge growth opportunity.
The beauty of the visitor, it's OPM. We're building Memphis up with other people's money. And at the same time, we have world-class amenities that all of our citizens can enjoy.
Well, I greatly appreciate the work that you do. You're doing a great job, and thanks for coming on the show and sharing it. Since 1946, they've been helping individuals and enhancing the quality of life for all through the science of orthopedic medicine. I'm here with the Executive Director of Development, Karen Watson, with the Campbell Foundation, and there's a natural tie into a well-known brand here, the Campbell Clinic. But for starters, describe Campbell Clinic, but then also to the outgrowth for the Campbell Foundation.
If you've ever broken a bone, or if you know someone who has suffered an injury from an automobile accident, or perhaps even a child born with a congenital deformity, often it's an orthopedic surgeon who treats that injury. So orthopedic medicine is the care and treatment of our musculoskeletal system. And the Campbell Clinic was founded right here in Memphis in 1909 by Willis C. Campbell. And he apparently was quite an individual, really a visionary leader for orthopedic medicine. He founded the Department of Orthopedic Surgery at the University of Tennessee. We're an academic practice. We train physicians to be orthopedic surgeons. And he also was a co-founder of the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, which is sort of like the College of Medicine for orthopedic surgeons. And that all happened right here in Memphis. So a lot of people know about Campbell Clinic. He also authored the first text, and it's still pretty much a seminal text.
This is like the Bible, right, for orthopedic medicine?
Pretty much. It's called Campbell's Operative Orthopedics, and we update that on about every 5-year basis. We've just finished our 12th edition, and we cover every orthopedic surgical procedure known to man in the world, which is pretty daunting.
All right here from Memphis.
All right here in Memphis. So a lot of people know about Campbell Clinic, both patients who've been treated here and then also surgeons around the world. But very few people know about the Campbell Foundation. And we were founded, as you mentioned, in 1946. Dr. Campbell died suddenly at age 61, and his original partners said we need to use the balance of his estate to sustain this legacy, this commitment to education and commitment to discovering a better way and a better treatment for orthopedic conditions broadly. So the foundation was founded, and we are committed to helping others move freely without pain. That, at the bottom line, that's what we're about. Orthopedic conditions rarely are life-threatening, but often they will rob your quality of life.
We were talking about walking, running, jumping, working, going to work, and even sitting in a chair. I mean, little things. I mean, just typing on a computer. So all of that, right. So before we dive in, I want to use this as a chance because there's 3 specific areas. It's research and development, it's training the next generation of physicians, but it's also to community outreach both locally and nationally. So let's go ahead and show viewers a little bit of a teaser, and then we'll talk specifically about the role for the Campbell Foundation.
The educational part has to do with residency training, training of medical students, primarily fellows. Well, it's really a unique transformation. It's a 5-year training program to go through here. It's very fortunate we attract the best and brightest medical students, some of the smartest ones, because it's very competitive to get into orthopedics. And we can train them to practice good medicine and to have good skills in the operating room. But at the end of the day, we're looking for the character of the person that walks in the door that wants to be a resident here. The research really transcends all across orthopedics, whether it's sports, spine, pediatrics, hand, foot. Some of it's basic science, some of it's translational. There are a lot of opportunities out there for research. And we like to say we want to play to our strengths. In this area, we have great support for basic science, we have great support for clinical research or translational research. And what we try and do is take what we learn in the lab and apply it to the patient.
So that's a fun segue into the 3 pillars, and as we alluded to, you have training the next generation of physicians and specialists, you have research and development and community outreach. Let's take them in fun threads, but starting out, talk about training the next generation.
So we're an academic practice. That means we are training physicians to become orthopedic surgeons. We have a 40-slot residency, puts us in about the top 10% in the nation.
Nice.
And at any point in time, we have physicians who are becoming orthopedic surgeons. And as Dr. Azar alluded to in the video, it's really important not just that they are technically skilled, but that they understand it's a patient at the center of the issue. It's a person, it's someone's mother, it's someone's child. So we're really proud of them. We feel that they are very capably able to handle anything that they see in their practices, whether they stay in the Mid-South area or whether they travel across the United States. We're proud that they were trained here.
And the reason that's important is because there is a massive shortage. Is it 300,000
by
predicted?
2025, which means that if you or I break our bone, which chances are one of us is going to do that in the course of our lifetime, we might not be able to get the care of an orthopedic surgeon. So it's really important for us to continue to train surgeons. We also have to tackle this a little bit smarter. We have to work smarter, not harder. We also are hard at work on clinical research. We have about 80 active research projects, and they start with sort of a clinical observation. This one particular solution or treatment seems to work really well in this patient population, but less well in this patient population. Is there a way we can make that better? And then we're off and running and the project starts.
Well, the neat thing is on that too is it's not just the scientific, it's also too therapeutic. So looking at how can we innovate on the therapy side as well.
Absolutely. And we will work with physical therapists. We do a lot of testing in the laboratory. We even do sort of randomized trials where we go into the operating room and open up an envelope and determine what intervention that patient gets, which is really necessary for a clinical solution. I think only through innovation are we going to be able to tackle this looming shortage.
And then outreach is, to me, one of the most exciting, just because when you look at it, you're taking care of those locally that don't have the means to financially help themselves, so you're taking care of those, but then also too starting mission trips internationally.
We have just started an international medical mission for our residency. We send one resident a year to an impoverished area, and it's a fantastic scientific exchange and a cultural exchange. We're able to share what we know and how we do it at the Campbell Clinic, and we're able to see and be humbled by how orthopedics is delivered in some of these third world countries. It's a really eye-opening experience, and we're very excited about it.
And I know you have a very specific example with a sweet child,
I
correct,
do.
Olivia?
I'll tell you, the numbers kind of get big, and it's hard for me to see what the numbers look like, but Olivia was born in China, and she was born with congenital deformities. She had both club feet and hip dysplasia, which is a tendency for her hips to dislocate because of the anatomy. She was abandoned in China. She was female and she had congenital deformities. Fortunately, her story doesn't end there. She was adopted by a lovely couple in Memphis, and she was brought to Memphis, and she was brought to our pediatric orthopedic team. We have a lot of expertise through our clinical research in the treatment of club feet. So she has had surgery for her club feet. They've been corrected. She's had one of 2 surgeries for her hips, and she's able to play like a normal child. And it really is a good indication of the power of orthopedic intervention.
And the other thing too is you're sharing that success, but also too you're sharing those innovations using club feet as an example with others around the world.
We do. We get on podiums, we publish our work so that this work can be put into practice in a clinic tomorrow, either here in Memphis or across the globe.
Well, I know that you're heavily supported obviously by the Campbell Clinic, but also to those in the community here that want to be a part of your amazing efforts. So thanks for coming on the show and sharing.
Thanks very much.
They're based here in the Mid-South. They're working in 16 countries around the world. I'm here with the CEO of Orphanos, Wayne Sneed. And Orphanos is a little bit of a descriptor for what you do and who you serve, but give us a little history on Orphanos.
Sure. Orphanos is the Greek word from the Bible for orphans. So obviously we work with orphans and vulnerable children in different places around the world. And what our organization does is provide the financial processing, back-end administrative piece to these projects around the world. So donors in the U.S. want to make gifts to these kids, these projects, and so they'll write a check to us. We'll process that, give them the appropriate, all the auditing and the 501c3 and the receipts and the IRS and all that, and then we pass that gift through 100% to the location. So
and that's very unique. 100%
yeah, it's
pass
really,
through.
really rare. So if somebody's doing $50 a month sponsoring a child somewhere, or if they're doing a $20,000 gift for a special project, building a dorm or something, we process that and all the what it takes to get that processed according to IRS law, and then we pass that gift through 100% to the location.
And the projects that you're working on, these are feeding projects, they're infrastructure and school projects. It's a wide gamut, right?
Right. There's a lot of different models for how to reach out and help kids because they're all in different kinds of situations. But some examples of that would be in Russia, we're partnered with a group called the Habra, where we 90% of the kids coming out of aging out of their system are in the sex industry, or they're in prison, or they're dead within a year. And so they're identifying kids that have potential, and they're teaching them how to cook, how to clean their clothes, how to get an apartment, get a job, hold a bank account, those kind of things. So that's one model that we're partnered with. Another one would be like in Ecuador, where we're partnered with a group called Montebello, and they have a Western English-speaking education system, so they're getting kids, street children, off the streets in Ecuador, and they're partnering with wealthy expats and business people who want their kids to have a Western education, and they're putting the two together in a Western situation. So it works well with that. And so those are just two different models, examples of the kinds of things that we get to do every day.
I love it. And so let's actually, I know you take a number of mission trips where you get to show local funders their dollars in action.
Right.
Let's go ahead and show viewers a little bit of a day in the life at Orphanos.
That'd be fun. Welcome to La Habra Children's Home. Uno, dos, tres.
Fun chance to see your money in motion, your dollars affecting lives, but you obviously do so much more, especially now where you're applying business principles and activation, economic development, if you will, for these countries as well. BAM.
Right. The whole concept of BAM, B-A-M, is business as mission, and it's a really cutting edge thing that's going on around the world now, where businessmen and women are taking their skill sets, the thing they're good at, economic empowerment, business, and they're going to these suppressed economies in these countries, and they're going in and they're applying those skills. We have three examples that I'll give you of what we're doing in that. One is in Africa. We're working with a group called Ikirari, and we're partnering them with Tyson, and they're actually have one of the largest chicken farms in Uganda, and we're feeding 3,000 kids a day out of this farm, but it's profitable. Wow. So we're selling the eggs and we're selling the chickens and everything, but we're still able to feed 3,000 kids a day.
That's one egg, right?
That's one egg, oneegg.org. And then another example would be in Belize, where we're partnered with a business guy who went down there, and he's built himself a dairy farm called the Country Barn. He's taken street boys, little kids off the street that are begging and starving, giving them a job at the Country Barn, teaching them how to manage cattle, how to manage these things, and how to run spreadsheets and all that, and then turning around and empowering them to go out and do that. And so he's a business guy down there with
he's also taking the profits, right, and reinvesting them?
Reinvesting them back into the dormitories and things they're doing. So there's a great example of economic empowerment and helping kids. And another example is down in Leticia, Colombia, which is on the Amazon River. There are no roads into this place, and we're down there trying to build a ready-mix concrete plant of all crazy things. That's crazy.
So that way you can literally build the roads.
We're building the roads, and we're building the airport, and we're building hotels and things because it's kind of a touristy area for the Amazon. And so this thing is actually funding economic empowerment. We got some business guys involved in that, but it's also funding the children's works there in the community. So we're helping kids, we're empowering the community, and all of that is couched in businessmen and women doing what they know how to do, which is business.
And I think there's a theme song for that last one, something along the lines of "We built this city." So, but you know, when you look at that, I mean, it's neat on all fronts. Is you're teaching the kids, you're giving them job skills, you're creating businesses then that create money back into the system. So all the way around, it's a win-win-win.
Right.
Transition that, you know, taking the local kids there, but you're doing a lot here locally as well, and especially related to the Memphis Symphony Orchestra and the Memphis Messiah.
That's right. That's right. We have a great partnership for the last 9 years with the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, Rhodes College, the Shelby County Schools, where we're bringing kids from these inner city schools to see and hear a performance of the Memphis Symphony of Handel's Messiah. And Handel's Messiah is the most played piece of music in the history of the world. It's a phenomenal piece. It's got some really intricate details to it. So we're bringing these kids in, and we're doing that through local business partnerships. So local businesses are helping us to sponsor a whole school of kids coming, and it's not that expensive. And these kids get to experience something, and it's just great.
They get to experience it for free.
For free, that's right, for free. And it's just great to hear their responses and how they react to these things, because you know, a lot of these kids never hear symphony music, let alone get to experience it live.
Well, there you go. I greatly appreciate not everything you're doing here locally, but around the world as well. So thanks for coming to Show and Change.
Hey, thanks for having us.
One of my favorite sayings is think big, start small, act now. And the organizations highlighted this month are doing just that, but with an international twist. The Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau is spreading our Memphis story around the world, attracting tourists, conventions, meetings, and other special events that mean big business for our local economy, over $3.1 billion. Campbell Clinic and the Campbell Foundation are helping people walk, run, jump, work, and play again by providing world-class orthopedic care. They're training new surgeons, discovering new treatments, taking care of our local children and adults regardless of their ability to pay, and now organizing medical missions. Orphanos is answering their calling by providing for orphan children both here and around the world. Yes, Memphis is always at the top of the list for being one of the most generous cities, but our love and giving truly knows no borders. So thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and to interact with your stories of others leading by example, visit thesparktv.org. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South.
Just like having the right information is necessary to make solid hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
State Systems is focused on protecting life and property. As a local, privately owned company, our foundation was built on providing all businesses with complete fire and security protection and infrastructure cabling. State Systems is proud to be a part of the Mid-South community and a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.